Hello everyone, so in this video we're going to be going through question 2 in section A of the Leaving Cert Computer Science higher level paper. So for this first part of question 2 we're given two binary numbers and it's asking us to add these two numbers together to get one single number. So I'm going to go to the blackboard and I'm going to write down these two binary numbers and we're going to walk through how we're going to get our answer. So I've copied the two binary numbers from the exam paper and now we're just going to go and add these two binary numbers together. So if we look at this first column here, we can see we've got a 0 and a 1. So when we add these two together, we'll get 1. Moving on to the next column, we have a 1 and a 0, so this will also be 1. Then in the third column, we've got two zeros, so this will be 0. Now in our fourth column here, this is where you might make a mistake. So we've got two 1s, so we can't put 2 down here. We have to carry our 1 into our next column and we're going to put 0 in this column. Now just keep in mind, if you're not familiar with binary and how binary works and how to add and subtract binary, we do have a course on binary where you will learn the basics and where we go through some examples. So if this is a little bit unfamiliar to you, definitely check out the binary course and then come back to this video. So moving on then, we have our next column here. Again, we have a 0, a 1 and a 1. So similar to our last column, we have 2 as our answer, but we can't write down 2 here because we're dealing with binary numbers, which is only 1 and 2. So we put down 0 here and we carry our 1. Now in this column we've got two 0s and a 1, so we add all these together, that just leaves us with 1. Now in our next column here we've got a 1 and a 0, so this is 1, and in our final column we've got a 0 and a 1, so this leaves us with 1 also. So this is the binary number that I'm going to go and fill in as our answer for part A. So now that we've got our binary number filled in for question 2 part A, in the next part of the question, the B part, we need to convert our binary number that we calculated into the base 10 system. So the number system that we all know and use in maths. So let's jump back to our blackboard where we can go and talk through the answer. So if you remember from watching our course on binary, each of these numbers here are 1 and 0, and these represent the powers of 2. So 2 to the power of 0, which is 1, all the way up to 2 to the power of 7. So our numbers range from 1 to 128. So if we go and take all our numbers that have a 1 and add them together, and whatever binary number we have, which is 0, we don't include that. So we can see here 1 is present in this column, so this would be the same as saying 128 plus something. So we go and look at our next column and we can see that 1 is present, so we have to add 64. And then if we go to our next column, we can see the number 32, so we need to add that also. Then our next number we're going to add is not going to be 16 because there's a 0 representing the 16th place. We're not going to add in an 8 because again there's a 0 there, and the same for 4. So the next number that we're adding is actually the number 2. So we'll add in 2 and we'll add in the number 1 here. So if you go and add up all these numbers together, either using a calculator or in your head, you'll get the answer of 227. And this is our answer for question 2 part B. So you can fill that in. So we've got our number 227 here. Now obviously if you're doing this in an exam, you'd have to do all your workings like what we did over on our blackboard, just to show how we got the answer, and if we made a mistake somewhere in between starting the question and getting to the answer, we may potentially pick up some marks. So just the last thing to add in, if we want to go and check that we're correct with our answer of 227, what we can actually do is we can convert this binary number here into a decimal number, and we can convert this binary number into a decimal also. And then if we go and add these two decimal numbers together, we should get 227. So if we go and look at this binary number here, we can see that this represents 64, this here will represent 8, and this will represent the number 2. So if we were to go and add the number 64 plus 8 plus 2, we would get an answer of 74. And if we just erase this and we do the same for our second binary number, this is not something that you have to do, but it's always good if you just want to make sure that the answer that you got is correct. So again, looking at here, we can see there's a 1 here. So this is the same as saying 128 plus this number here, which represents the number 16. We've also got a 1 here, so that's 8, and this 1 here, which is equivalent to 1. So if we go and get 128, add 16, add 8, and add 1 together, we get the number 153. So if we were to add 153 to 74, we would get an answer of 227. And that's the answer we got, but we went about doing it in a slightly different way. But this is a good way to check your answers.